Welcome to Bulldog Banter, where we explore the endless possibilities that education brings. Join us as we bring together inspiring guests, students, both past and present, who share their stories and experiences and highlight the transformative power of education.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bulldog Banter. I'm Maddie Hildebrand.
I'm Reagan Lampy.
And this is the podcast where we interview NPHS alumni.
And do fun stuff.
Today, we are here with Traci Dugan.
Hello.
She's the distinguished alumni of 2024. Hi, Traci.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Nice to be here.
It's nice to meet you. So you went to school at North Platte?
I did. I went to all kindergarten through through high school in North Platte.
Where did you go to elementary school at?
McDonald.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, we're cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were arguing about this yesterday too.
It's good to be neat.
Yeah. I went to Jefferson, so I don't.
All right,
I don't know
you'll
about
do.
that lifestyle. Yeah.
So what was it like going to school at North Platte?
I've had a very good life. I'm from North Platte. I actually was born in Sutherland because we had a cattle ranch where we have a cattle ranch in Sutherland. So I was born in North Platte, but lived 1 year on the ranch in Sutherland, and then we moved to North Platte. And then I went to school here like every year. So it's been a great experience. When I graduated from college, I moved to Texas, to Houston, where I lived there for 10 years. Also a great experience. Very large city, the fourth largest in the country at that time. And I think a lot of my upbringing, values, and education helped me to be very successful in Houston. And then I moved back here in like the 1990s, early 90s. I moved back to North Platte, and we grew our business. And I really like living in North Platte. It's got great people, and I've received a great education here in North Platte.
Yeah. So how did you get started with your whole business? How did it start?
Well, thank you for asking the question. Yes. My father actually started Trego Aviation, Gary Trego. And when I was a little girl, we flew. He would fly. He taught people to fly. He was an FAA examiner. He did he was a rancher by birth, but his true love was aviation. So he convinced my grandparents, his parents, to start Trego Aviation. They were not that excited about that because they wanted him to be focused only on the ranch. And so he made a little agreement with them. Hey, let me start this, Mom and Dad, and if it's successful and the ranch doesn't fail or have any kind of operational deficiencies, then I'll do both. And they were like, okay, you can try it, but we're going to give you 1 year, and then if it doesn't work here on the ranch, you gotta come back here. So he did it. He did both, and he did very well. So I was born. I'm the oldest. I have a younger brother. And when I was a little girl, I loved to fly. We would fly off of the ranch, off of a grass strip. And I would sit in the front, and he'd sit in the back. You sit tandem, so front to back. And, of course, he would fly the aircraft, and then I would just beg him the whole time, can I do it? Can I do it? Dad, please, can I do it? So he would say, okay. He would let me have the controls, and I would pull the stick back on the airplane and go way up, kind of like you're on a roller coaster, and then go down. And so your stomach would fly up into your head. I just love that feeling of freedom and kind of like a carnival ride. And then he would say, all right, now you're not going to do this with anybody but me. Okay, when you're not with me, don't do this. I'm like, okay, got it, Dad. So he got me inspired about airplanes and flying and things like that. So that was my first exposure to aviation. And he actually taught me to fly. And I don't know about you guys and your parents, but usually if a parent teaches you something, they're very hard on you. And he didn't want me to be dangerous in any way, so he was extremely hard on me, and he really taught me very good habits. And he's a great pilot, and I learned a lot from him. So, yeah, that's how I got started.
Cool. I love planes, too. They're really cool. And my dad is also, my grandpa flies planes, too.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, That's really cool.
Yeah, same with my grandpa. He flew an airplane. I think that's what got my dad started. So he couldn't really say, well, you can't fly the airplanes, because he was flying one also off of the ranch. And he was, back in the day, you know, the old ranchers, they would fly Super Cub airplanes, which are made out of cloth, basically, and they would swoop down, and he would lean out of the aircraft and get coyotes, because they kill the calves. And so that was a little bit, that's pretty rugged, pretty Yellowstone, you know. But my dad was more structured, follow the rules, be a professional, you know, do this kind of thing. So yeah, that's how I got my start.
So you've been like wanting to like take over and do this.
I really like to fly. And I encourage you both to, as you grow in your personal careers, take a look at aviation, because the world of aviation is amazing for women, especially. And when you're flying an airplane, there's no better feeling of freedom and competency. You know, you're flying the aircraft. You can take off at one airport, never see the ground, and fly to an airport far, far away. Even internationally, I fly internationally as well. And it's just amazing. We have the technology to do that. And aviation is, women don't ever seem to, or they're getting better at realizing that they can be amazing in aviation. And there's so many careers in aviation, not just a pilot, like lots of aviation careers. But only about 4% of the total professional pilot population are women. So it's a really great opportunity to get into it for your careers. I'd highly encourage you to look closer at it.
Yeah. So as being a woman, have you had like any issues or come across any challenges since you are a girl?
Not really. My personal belief is it shouldn't matter what I am, and I need to be the best at whatever I'm doing. And that just says it all. You don't have to make any excuses. You don't have to. I don't expect to be given a job if I'm not the best person at that job, whether I'm a woman or a man or whatever I am. And so that's kind of the philosophy I've had. It's worked really well. So just be the best, do your best, and it seems to work out. The woman thing doesn't really come up. I think the low percentages of women aviation are a factor of women, young women never get exposure to it. And they also think, well, I don't know if I could do that, blah, blah, blah. You know, these preconceived notions that society actually has on either if it's math, if it's flying, if it's whatever it is, technical fields. You are just as capable, actually probably more capable than many people you will meet. So just go for it.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. So in high school, like what activities did you do?
Well, back in the day, I was a pacer.
Oh.
I loved it. I mean, you know, it was just fun. Group of young women. We had a blast. This is showing my age, but you know, just go with me on this. Picture this. We actually, when I was a pacer, we had a drummer who would sit on the basketball stadium, you know, on the floor, and our entrance would be to him drumming, like da 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 da, and then we would march out with our hands on our hips. I know you guys are like, wow, horrid, but we would march out with our hands on our hips and knees really high, and then go from the corners of the basketball floor to where your position was for your routine. And we would stop, and he would stop, and then we would start our routine. And the audience loved it. I mean, they were like, yeah, you know, so.
Yeah, that sounds way cooler than
it was fun. I mean, it wasn't dance, and the cheerleaders were more on the dance side. You know, now I think they have dance groups and all that. I'm not an expert on any of that, but the Pacers more were performers. We didn't do stunts. We just performed to a song. And then we would march off also. He would start the drum beat again, and we would march off. And it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
So, yeah. And then we went to state, and the Pacers went to the state. And so the cheerleaders, we both did it. We went as a big group, and The year I was, I think, a senior, we were at state basketball, and it was really fun. And we did a routine, and then the Omaha troop did their routine. It wasn't dance; it was like a, I don't know what you call it, pacers of their sort, and it was cool. We had a good time.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful.
Yep.
So, do you want to tell us like what it's like having your own business?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't start having my own business. I went to college. I went to University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I got an engineering degree, industrial engineering. And then I moved to Houston, Texas, like I said. And I worked for NCR, and my job was to call on to sell mainframe computers, if you can imagine. Now your cell phone is a mainframe. So back in the day, again, this is a while ago, late 80s, early 90s, I led a team that would sell mainframe computers to Fortune 10 accounts, so all the big oil accounts I would call on. And it's weird how this happened because I had a little airplane in Houston, Texas, a prop airplane, and all my accounts were oil accounts. So oil accounts in Texas were big in the 80s. So it was Midland, Texas, Austin, Baton Rouge, and Houston. And NCR would allow me to use my own airplane to fly to my remote accounts to make sales calls to try to sell a mainframe computer. So that was cool. So here goes the aviation thing again. I didn't really plan that, but it worked out great. Mm-hmm. So I used my own airplane, didn't have to go commercially to all those accounts. So I built my time up that way. I wasn't planning on being a professional pilot at all. That was just something I did for fun. Mm-hmm. So I'm in Houston, very predominantly male-dominated industry, but I have to tell you, it was a wonderful experience. Again, you know your product, you know your stuff, and it goes great. That's all you have to do. So I did really well there. I lived in Houston for 10 years, and I sold mainframe computers. I had a team of people who we would sell like to Enron, to Texaco, to all the oil accounts, the big oil accounts. Now Enron doesn't exist anymore, but and my job was to call on the CEO of the company because mainframes back in those days were like $30 million. So they'd purchase one, and it would scale. They were scalable, and it would wherever Texaco locations were, they could have the one mainframe in the center at their headquarters, and all the information would be distributed. So I really like that because technical selling for me was really my wheelhouse. I love that. I like to deal with the people, and it was really a challenge, winning deals and economically it's great. You can earn great money doing it, and it was fun. And then on top of all that, being allowed to fly myself to all these accounts was great for me too, because I didn't have to go commercially. So the question was, how do you like having your own business? I didn't start with my own business, but all that experience, it's really weird, wove this path that I'm in now. It's like I wrote a story that would be, okay, what can you do next that would help you be who you are today? It's almost like I planned it. I did not plan it. Okay, so I did that for 10 years with the airplane. And then at about the fifth year, I had a very good friend of mine who was from Omaha, oddly. She also lived in Houston. And she and I would, socialize, and she was a really good person. She was in venture capital, and she said one day, I have a great person that I'd like to set you up with. He was my fiance's roommate in law school, and he's really a nice guy, la la la. And I said, no, Karen. Everybody knows her name was Karen, weirdly. How do I come up with this stuff? I said, no, Karen, everybody knows setup dates are horrible. Like, they won't work. You'll go out. It'll be a flop, blah, blah, blah. I'm not interested. And she goes, okay. So then we kept doing stuff socially, and she kept working on me. Finally, I caved in. I'm like, all right, you've asked me a million times. I'm tired of the subject. Set it up. We will go on one date and then it will not work. Okay? So just get it done. She goes, okay, great. So she set me up with my husband, Vince Dugan, and you guys are going to laugh at this. He is actually a native New York City individual person. He was a lawyer in Houston, and he did aviation law. Weird. And we went on a blind date, and it was great. I'm still married to him today, and it's been 30 years. I lose track. It's a lot of years, but we got set up. We dated for a few years. We got married. We both then moved back here because he was a litigator, an aviation litigator for a large law firm and a partner in a law firm down in Houston. I was doing the mainframe computer stuff again, still. And we just wanted to have a different life. We were very successful in a large city, but we lived in a high rise downtown Houston. It was amazing as a young person, but then you get older and you want to have a family, you want to have a yard, you want to, stuff like that. Yeah. That's like normal family life. And you just can't do that in a high rise when you're living on the 20th floor. You don't have all those normal family things. So we approached my father, who was owning and operating with my mother, Traci Trego Aviation, and we purchased Trego Aviation, and we grew it from there. So when we first moved back, and can you imagine, I'm married to a New Yorker, okay, New York City, millions of people, blah, 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 very, used to all this fast-paced stuff. And he and I moved back here, and he loved it. And so we had our own business, and you're going to laugh at this because when we first purchased Trego Aviation, we had 8 people in the company, most of which were related. My mom, my dad, me, Vince. He wasn't related to them, but that's 4 people who are basically in the same family, and then 4 others. And it grew from that point. We took it, we grew it. It's grown and grown and grown and grown, and we have over 3,200 people in the company now. So it's amazing. I mean, we have amazing people in the company, really amazing. And you're successful because of others. You're not successful because of what you've done. It's because you have been exposed to great people who help you, who work really hard, and who are on your team. You know what I mean? And that's what we have in our company. We got a great, just one huge team. We call it the Road to Awesome. So I wasn't flying professionally at that point. So I came back to North Platte. We lived in Kristen Court because we rented a place. We didn't have a house. We had no kids. We didn't have a dog. We had nothing. So we came back here. We lived in Kristen Court, and we built this company up. Okay, and then my son Matthew was born in 1995. Okay, and so then we built a house. We started to, settle down and everything, and this was a real deal. You know what I mean? At first, when you first move back, you're like, well, I hope this works. Blah blah blah. Going to do my best. There's 8 people. We got to get this going. And we just started to dig in, and it's gotten larger and larger and larger and larger. And so do you have more questions, or am I talking too much?
No, keep going.
Okay. Sorry, I'm on this roll. You guys are like, okay, that wasn't the part of the question, but we're going to let her go with it. So I'm back now in North Platte with Vince. Okay, we start building the company up. The first thing that I did personally as a personal project in the company is to get us an air carrier certificate that would allow us to fly private jets, because we had a lot of connections in other cities. Chicago, that's where Vince's family is from. Chicago, New York, Houston, la la la. And so we put private jets on our charter certificate so we could take you as a high net worth person, fly you in the private jet wherever you wanted to go. That took a lot of effort and regulatory compliance with the FAA. We got it. Okay, that was the first big milestone. So now we go out and we market our private jet service to companies, high net worth clients, and we set up a flight base in Chicago. So all of our pilots are based in Chicago now, except for our corporate jet here. But that's how we started. So we would fly. I personally would fly because we were tiny. I would fly the CEO of North Americas from Chicago to New York City. I lived here in North Platte, and we based the airplanes here initially. We were just starting the whole project. So we would fly that private jet to Chicago, pick him up. We had to be off the ground at 8 a.m. Central Time. So I had to fly from here to get there before 8, and then fly to New York City, stay till Thursday, fly him back to Chicago where he lived, and then fly back here. And we flew into Teterboro. There's many songs about Teterboro, New Jersey. It's the big corporate airport. It's a private airport right across the Hudson from New York City, where all the CEOs that work in the city fly into, and usually their own airplanes, their own jets. So I did that for 3 years, I'm gonna say. And it was awesome because I went into the city a lot. It was good to experience New York City. And because when you're a pilot, you fly the person where they want to go, and then you wait, and then you fly them back. You're on their schedule. You're not on your schedule. Where commercial airlines, it's like, hey, you got to get on the plane at 10 a.m. Don't be late. We'll take off without you. No, the plane does not leave until the customer gets there in the private jet world. So that was awesome. Okay, so here we are starting the company. The company here in North Platte at the time would sell gas to private jets that would fly and coast to coast and need gas. Basically, we're a jet fuel gas station for private jets in North Platte. So this kind of made that go. It was kind of part of that, so it grew. And I did that for a long period of time. Not knowing, I had to get my type ratings and I had to become a professional pilot to do that. So this air carrier certificate made me do that. Now I can fly private jets. I'm the director of operations for this private jet company. I'm flying, doing all these trips, and I'm building my time. Again, how do you get from a little prop plane, it's like Southwest Airlines, me and the prop plane, and then American Airlines, at these airports when I first started, to now I'm flying private jets. I couldn't have scripted it. It just worked out. Okay? So I think the key is always look for opportunity and create something. And don't wait for someone to tell you or to say to you, here's what I want you to do. Go out, look at the scenario, and say, here's what I think needs to be done. And then just create it. Do it. There is no right or wrong. You can't be wrong if you're trying to create something from scratch. So that happened, okay? Meanwhile, the FBO here was still running. Then we purchased Grand Island Aviation. And that grew our FBO, so our gas station network, if you will. Doing that, everything's going fine, blah, 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 keeping doing it. So then one day, our company gets a call from Allegiant Airlines, and they say, hey, we're going to start these flights out of Grand Island to Las Vegas and Dallas and all these places. We'd like to know if you'd like to be the ground handler. We've never done that before, And so we said, yes, we would. We literally made that up. We did. And it's like this flying thing. We just made it up. So we follow their rules. It's very regulatory. You work with an air carrier. You're flying the general public now, or you're not flying, but you're handling their ticketing, loading their suitcases, all that kind of stuff, pushing the airplane back. You have to be on time. You have to be safe and professional. So we did that. We had one Allegiant flight out of Grand Island. Man, we thought we were amazing, really. We thought we are awesome. So just kept growing. Allegiant Airlines said, oh, you guys are doing a great job in Grand Island. Do you want to go here? Do you want to go to this city, that city, this city, that city? So it started growing. We got more contracts at various cities, and we said yes. So we literally thought, okay, how are we gonna have this ground handling thing in like Boise, Idaho? Like, we're not based there, so we had to make that up. So that's how we grew on that side. It's called airline ground handling. So when you go to an airport and you've bought an airline ticket and you go to the counter and you say, hi, I'm here to check in on my flight, or you check in on your phone. If you have a bag to check, you go to the bag counter and you give them your suitcase, right? The person that's checking you in behind the counter does not work for the airlines. This is what nobody knows. They work for a third-party company like ours. So they don't have their own employees. They outsource everything. So this is a great business opportunity. So we expanded from Allegiant, Frontier, Sun Country. We have a whole list of airlines that we serve. We've grown that, and that's how we've grown our base of employees. Well, then one day, here we're now expanding in the ground handling thing. Get a call, pring, hey, hello. This is Addison Elkins with Amazon, and we've heard great things about your company, and we'd like to visit with you about possibly being an air cargo operator for us at our gateways. And I think Vince got the call transferred to him, and he put the phone down like, come on, who's joking? Like, this is Amazon calling us, seriously? And so he goes, yes, sir. And so literally, this happened about 3.5 years ago. Amazon called us because of our good reputation, and we said yes. Again, what did we do? I'll give you one shot at it.
Made it up.
You got it. We made it up. So Amazon is a very, very tough customer. They are the best in giving respect and outlining their expectations, and they expect that you're a bar raiser when you do business with them, and or if you work for them. They're an awesome company. I love them to death. So when we took this project on, Vince said to me, I think that you should take the air cargo part of it. We need to make it a separate division in the company, and you need to run the division because it's air carriers like Sun Country, all these ones we already serve, that are flying the prime airplanes in, and you should run it. And I said, okay, I'll do it. Again, I'm like vomiting in the restroom because I'm like, I've never done this before, but I'll try it. I'll make it up. So we did it. And we started with Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And again, now what we do for them is they load the big airplanes, a 737 or a 767. They load them up with millions of Smiles boxes in these devices called ULDs, which are cans, big aluminum cans that match the fuselage shape. And they load all those up. They fly the airplane lands, they taxi into where you are at the gateway. So the airplane taxis into our Pittsburgh location. The industrial engineering thing, again, weirdly, it comes into play because Amazon is the kind of company that says, we want you to do this. Here's our expectation. Here's what you have to meet in times. Go ahead and do it. They don't tell you how to do anything because they believe that they'll get great ideas if they foster them from you instead of saying, well, here's how you're going to do it. Now, they have a standard work manual, and they have all these expectations and bars you have to meet, key performance indicators, but they don't tell you how to get there. They say, do it. And so I was able to use my industrial engineering degree, or background, I guess, if you will, to lay out the tracks inside of our warehouses on where we drive, how we process packages, all that started to... I never did industrial engineering out of college. Okay, I got the degree and I went and I sold mainframes. That's not industrial engineering. Industrial engineering is like you figure out a warehouse, like warehouse design. How many steps does it take to go from here to here, and efficiencies and stuff like that. So now I'm starting to do that. I'm like, wow, I got to dust off some stuff here and figure this out. So did that. The key, though, and here I go back again, is we started in Pittsburgh. It was very nerve-wracking. I love doing the Amazon project. Jeff Bezos, he hates PowerPoint. So when you're having a meeting, you have the meeting scheduled. You have it, the people in the meeting are scheduled. There is one entity that will write what they call a white paper. The white paper is how you will do something. So I had to write the white paper. Yeah, I know. I was like, what? So I wrote the white paper, and then you present the paper at the beginning of the meeting, and then they set a timer. You will read the white paper silently. Everyone reads to themselves silently in the first 30 minutes of the meeting. Then they go ding, ding, the timer goes off. And then you go, each section of the white paper, you travel down through, and then it's open to the floor. And he believes, and I think this is amazing because it works great, in proper preparation but messy meetings. So you go through the white paper section by section, and you open it up for the floor. Ask any question you want. What do you not understand? How are you going to do this? Da-da-da. And they grill you on each section. Then they'll say, at the end of that topic, they'll say, okay, any more questions on, the floor processing on section A or whatever? And then nobody says anything. And he's like, okay, we'll go on. So I had to lead this white paper discussion. Never did it before. Pretty nerve-wracking. But we got it done. And I'm not one to usually pat myself on the back, but it was major for me. I tried super hard. I got a lot of input from the team, and we did it. And then the young person, the woman who was leading this effort at Pittsburgh to open up this gateway, her name was Anushka Rubin. She said to me, Traci, I have to tell you, that's the best white paper we've ever received from any of our 3P vendors. And we were like the new guys on the block. We didn't know anything. And I was like, thank you, Anushka. But working with the Amazon project has taught me a lot. And, I'm not like, it's almost like I work for Amazon, but I work with Amazon, and we are a vendor for Amazon. And it's just great learning experience. And they reward you very well if you work hard, you prepare, and you provide what they want. So now we've gone from 8 people. We started our jet certificate. We're now flying high net worth clients out of Chicago. Okay, that's going great. Then we buy another FBO. Now we work with Allegiant Airlines. And once you start doing that, then other airlines call. Oh, hey, we've heard you work with Allegiant at, Monterey, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to da-da-da-da? So we're growing that, okay, and then we get the call from Amazon because of a customer we were serving at Sun Country who recommended us to Amazon. So if you do a really good job in everything you do, it seems to parlay itself into other successes. So that's something I want everybody to remember is when you're going to do something, do it your very, very, very best because people are watching. And you will get more success if you do your first project really well. Sometimes you get into a project, you're like, what does it matter? Blah, blah, blah. This is like ridiculous. Why am I doing this? Remember, it all goes together. So do your very best on everything you do because somebody is watching and it matters down the road. So now we're doing the Amazon thing. We went from one location in Amazon and to now we're their second largest 3P gateway vendor. Yeah, second largest. We just got Nashville, which is a very large gateway. These are huge warehouses. So we have 200 and some people at the warehouse. And we literally unload the plane, drive the boxes into the warehouse, put all those boxes into these go-karts that go into trucks. The trucks go off, and they go to either a sort center or a delivery station, and then they drive it to your porch. So they started off with the 2-day delivery, and they're like, okay, on time. You've got an hour and a half, 1 hour and 30 minutes to park the plane, unload the plane, get the stuff on the trucks, and load the plane and have it push back and take off. 1 hour and 30 minutes for a 7-3, 2 hours for a 767. You're really on a, it's time. And now they want to do 1-day deliveries in metropolitan areas. So that all falls on us to get the stuff off the plane, on the trucks on, on the plane and go. So I like it. I think if you're a competitive person and you really, are not hyper, but you like to go, it's a really great aspect. So that's what we're doing now, and that is growing for us, and airline ground handling also growing. We have probably a list of 12 major airlines that we serve on the ticketing and the baggage handling, and we also do international, like Flair out of Canada. We do them. We do a lot of international air cargo customers who come into Charlotte, let's say, and we do them. So we have 6 gateways now for Amazon, and we have about 56 ground handling stations all over. We operate in about 42 states and about 56 locations. So that's how we got up to the 3,200 from 8.
That's crazy.
All right, so I pretty much took over.
That's
Wow.
fine. You hit like every point.
You guys are like,
No,
okay,
you told us everything.
we're
Yeah,
exhausted.
No, it was great. I love
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
So
Was there any like specific people or memories that like have influenced you or made a difference?
I think there's so many people. I can't even give you the list.
Yeah.
I think success is derived from a lot of people in your life that you meet. And the only thing I would say is if you can try to see the best in people that you meet and learn from them as best you can, no matter what their background, no matter what their thing is, what they're doing, I think you will be successful. And I have to tell you, success, I have to say again, isn't because of you. It's because of your reaction to your environment and people that come into your life that help you. You got to have the help. You can't do it all yourself. So there have been a lot of people who've helped me and still to this day are still helping to shape me. And I just appreciate them. It all started with my dad, basically, but there are, at all of our locations, there are amazing team members that they work hard, you guys. They're at the tip of the spear. When it's raining, it's thunderstorming, they're out there on the ramp unloading the Amazon packages or unloading your suitcases so you can go on vacation. We're flying people where they want to go in our jet side. And it's just, I think serving people's needs is really rewarding. It's tough. It's very hard to do, but I think if you just one day at a time, do your best, don't do anything halfway, do it to your full potential. I think that, and you just keep doing it, be consistent, and also work with people to help you be successful. You can't do it on your own. It comes to you. Success comes to those who work super hard and work well in terms of just valuing where they are in life.
Yeah.
Not to get too philosophical, but this isn't Oprah, right?
That's funny. So you said Amazon was like unplanned,
Yes.
it just happened. Do you
Yeah.
guys know what you want to do next? What else you want to
We will be even expanding more with Amazon because Amazon, they're just a very inventive company. They never rest.
Yeah.
And whether it's, I see this isn't happening right now, but I see opportunity in when they start to fly these drones around, which they've been developing over the last few years. We can now leverage, weirdly, our charter certificate to actually fly the drones for them next. That's kind of what I see as our next big venture with them. That and also growing. They don't want a lot of vendors. They like a few vendors that they trust that provide great performance to them. This year in February, we went to Seattle to a vendor meeting, and we were their top performing vendor in this last year. And it's an everyday. We operate 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Because when you hit enter on Amazon.com, you want your package,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we're a huge part of that success. And that's what I really like is, and of course, order Amazon. Okay, we need some help.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. I'm like, okay, they're all the money they're paying us, I'm giving back to them because I'm ordering 1 million Amazon packages. But anyway,
Literally.
So I'd say that is our next step with them. Could be drone, either drone maintenance, which we maintain all of our private jets. So we have a 145 repair station. It's FAA regulated, and then we fly these jets. And I see us going to them to say, we've put these drones, and the FAA doesn't know anything about drones. They do, but they're making the special part of the regulations specific to drones. It's not done yet, so we've got a ways to go. But if we can put that part on our certificate, then we can sit anywhere. You don't have to be sitting at the airport you're flying from or living in San Francisco if you're flying packages in SFO. You can sit in Chicago and have a group of drone pilots because you don't have to see the drone, and you could fly them. That's kind of what I've been trying to talk to them about. Also, just internal to us, we're a company that likes to build a better mousetrap. We don't just do it and never change anything. We always try to look at stuff and make it better. So without getting into too deep, what we used to do when we were this 3P vendor is when you loaded all the boxes into these cans and you drove them over a scale, you have to weigh them, then you have to drive out to the airplane, put them in the airplane. Okay. As you're weighing them, they would have everything done manually. So you have this scale log, it's a piece of paper. You'd look at the scale head, okay, 3,264. You put that down, you put the tare weight, you do all the math. And the hard part about it is on a 737, you do it 13 times. So if you're doing one weight minus another weight equals this weight, and you do it 13 times, and you're doing it with a Casio calculator, and you're under pressure, got to get the thing out, they got to go. A lot of human error can happen to anybody. I don't care about how smart you are. It's just you're under pressure. You can make a mistake, transpose numbers, do the math wrong. So when we fly an airplane, it's all automated. I mean, there is no way I use the table method to calculate your weights, what your bags weigh, center of gravity, da-da-da. So I'm like, wow, we're doing this by hand? And you're like, yep, we've got our Sharpie, and we're doing it by hand. On a 767, you do it 39 times. Can you guys imagine having to do that 39 times? And then you put it into a weight and balance program. Now, it can kill somebody. Okay, if you do not load an aircraft properly, if all the weight is loaded incorrectly or wrong in value, the airplane will take off, and if it's too far forward, the center of gravity, you're like a lawn dart. The pilots can't overcome the weight with their rudder capability. If you're too far back, now the airplane goes up and you stall and you crash. So on a passenger airplane, not a good deal. You always do the load master does the weight and balance. On a cargo airplane, same thing. You've got boxes, but you've got still 2 crew members up in the front. You don't want them to get hurt. So we wrote internally. I wrote the first iteration, and then I've got a lot of smart people who helped. We've got software programmers who rewrote the Visual Basic program to automate the whole thing. So you have a scanner in your hand, you just go beep, it knows the weight. Beep, it knows the weight. Beep, it knows the weight. Da 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 da. And you scan everything, and then it does the math for you, and then that shoots into the program. So it's called the Trego Dugan Aviation. Really inventive title, Trego Dugan Aviation Scale Application. But it's a desktop model right now, and we're making it into an app for mobile device. So you can just take your phone, beep, 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 oh, it's done, da-da-da. Well, this is another thing that happened. I got a call 1 month ago from Eric Kappa, who's an FAA person inside of Amazon. He works at Amazon, but he's an FAA liaison. And he said, hey, we've been looking at your Scale app for quite some time, and we're really interested in that. We want to know how it works. I said, yeah, I know you do, but we have a patent pending on the Scale app. And I can show it to you and demonstrate it and everything else, but you're going to have to buy it if you want it. And he goes, that's what I want to talk to you about. So we're going to now sell our Scale application to Amazon. So then they can put it in all their 3P locations. Initially, I didn't want to do that because it sets us apart competitively.
Yeah.
I mean, why am I giving our Scale app to all of our competitors? Mm-hmm. I don't want to do that. That makes us great. I did say initially to him jokingly, hey, if you want the Scale app, just have us do all your 3P gateways, and then we'll have the Scale app in every one of them. He, of course, laughed. He goes, no, I want to talk to you about buying the Scale app. So Amazon could do this easily, but it's already going, ready to go. It's been tested. We've been using it for almost 2 years without fail. And so that's the next thing on the horizon that we'll talk to them about, because they're always about getting better and better. Do it, look at it. Are you doing it the best way possible? And make it great, That's their theory. So I'm excited about that. We'll see. It's not happened yet, but we'll see. They're going to come out in another month, and we'll demonstrate it. And we're going to bundle it up as a single package and reluctantly say, okay, you can buy it, and then it'll go to all the other locations, sadly. But we'll see. But yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's cool.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
So you're a distinguished alumni of 2024. It's very nice to meet you and have you here, and thanks for telling us all about
thank you.
everything.
Yeah, you guys didn't get to talk much.
No, it's not. It's okay. I love listening to all of it.
And you're both juniors?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And what are your interests? What do you think you're gonna want to do?
We were just talking about this.
Yeah, we did just talk about it.
Yeah.
I actually have been thinking about going to the Air Force.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
My
good.
dad, like I said, my dad's big on airplanes. He
Yes.
wanted to go. He wanted my brother to go. My brother didn't go.
Yes.
And I've been considering it.
Absolutely. Amazon's a huge employer of veterans, and the senior VP for Amazon Air, was a Navy pilot, and she served in Afghanistan. She flew like 8 different Afghanistan fighter pilot missions, and then she moved over into the workplace health and safety VP. So there's a lot of potential. Yes, Air Force is awesome. Do that.
That's
Go for it.
Usually the reaction I get.
Yeah.
That's why I've
Yeah.
never gotten somebody that's.
And it's hard. It'll be hard, but it's worth it. Every day, you got to just look down the road at what the goal is. You can do it. How about you?
I literally have no idea.
I know. I was
have
that way too.
no clue.
Honestly, this story is what I've said. It seems like, oh yeah, you planned that, you did this, you did that. No, You just
There's just so
you
many
just
things
go for
you
it.
can do.
I agree. That's why it's a huge world is your oyster. So just my only recommendation is, I said it before, whatever you do it your very, very, very best. Never give up. It's not going to be easy. And some days you're going to want to quit. Mm-hmm. Okay? Just don't quit. Do your best. Okay?
Okay.
Good. Nice to meet both of you.
You too.
nice to
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for having
joining
me.
us today.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.